This next story that we're going to bring you actually took months to produce.
We had this story scheduled to run on this very night for weeks.
ABC2 News investigative reporter Brian Kubler spent some time inside the homicide unit of the Baltimore Police Department.
Now listen, we offered to hold this story out of respect to the Baltimore Police Department and the pain coursing through the department at this hour. But the commissioner told our very Brian Kubler today, run it. So tonight, a story of a seemingly impossible job and at least one young woman who says because of one detective who solved her father's murder, she couldn't fathom doing anything else.
Baltimore is in the red. The city is seeing it, feeling it, stained by it. From the blood on the street to the ink on the board, names are becoming numbers and numbers are becoming records.
Shot in the back of the head. He said they can see at least 2 cases.
Okay, that'll work. In homicide, Detective Brian Lewis's team is up. The warrant he's writing up is scant on information, but detectives needed to enter the 2-story walk-up in West Baltimore where a man was found shot to death in his bed. It's a drive from downtown to the courthouse on Wabash and then to the crime scene.
Unfortunately, this job does change you. It does harden you. It does make you jaded. It does make you just a little bit tougher than you really should be.
It's not only a defense mechanism, Lewis says. It's necessary to survive working homicide in Baltimore for 9 years. None more challenging than 2017 and all of its mind-numbing depravity. A near murder a day, on pace to shatter even this city's worst year of 353 murders in 1993.
I want to hold on to that humanity part of me. You know, I don't want this job to change me any more than it already has.
That's tough, especially the numbers you guys are seeing on the boards.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it does get difficult. It gets difficult to not become jaded.
Right face.
You remember Detective Lewis?
Yes, I do.
Bria Hightower is a police recruit. This fall, wrapping up her field training in the Eastern District.
You good? Okay.
Learning when to engage, when not to engage.
Be gentle, be gentle, be gentle.
And now, roll on all of it.
61. 61 means that the camera is activated.
But you do get the questions from some people.
Yes.
Why would you want to be a Baltimore City police officer?
All the time. I do.
And you tell them what?
Because I want to be a homicide detective. I want to be the change for Baltimore City. I want to make a difference. Hello. Hello, sir. How y'all doing? Fine. Hello, how are you? I can relate to a lot of victims out here. I feel like if you've been through the situation, you can relate more than someone who hasn't.
Bria's situation came when she was just 15, when her father became a number 199 of 234 in 2008.
It still hurts because, you know how sometimes I just wish I can call him up and be like, Dad, you know, what should I do in this situation? Or how should I handle this? And I can't.
And it will be a lifetime struggle to ever realize she never can again. It was 9 years ago, almost to the day, that Bria's dad was stabbed to death. Murder is not a pain that fades.
We get there and this is what we find, you know.
Detective Lewis remembers that night too. The 45-year-old father of 2 was attacked from the back, he remembers. It was just his second murder case.
William Hightower, the victim, was coming home from work. And he still had the grocery bag in his hand when he came up on the porch.
Bria said she knew who did it almost immediately and watched closely at the way Detective Lewis went about solving her father's case, hanging on his every word, taking notes in her journal.
He was so compassionate, and throughout the whole case, he stayed in contact with us. It's not a day that he didn't call to just give us some type of information.
Including the day he called to say he arrested the man she just knew did it from day one, her father's girlfriend's ex-boyfriend. She thought then, as she does now, Solving murders is what she needed to do.
I'm just glad that I'm able to, be a motivation for some people, like how Detective Lewis was a motivation for me.
Ready, front!
And so at the end of October, Bria Hightower, the police trainee, became Officer Hightower, one of the 33 new cops in her class to help replenish the depleted ranks of the Baltimore Police Department. Her badge pinned by the man who closed the case on her father.
There she is.
And unwittingly opened a near decade-long drive to do for others what he did for her.
How you doing? Your dad would be so incredibly proud. Would be so proud of you.
From sorrow to strength, from victim to policewoman.
Officer now, Officer Hightower.
That's right. It's for real now.
Yes, it is. It feels so amazing. I was waiting for this day for so long, and it's finally here, and I just feel so joyful.
Joy in helping a city that this year and right at this very moment is in a whole lot of pain. In Baltimore, Brian Kubler, ABC2 News.
All I could look at that story and think of is she just looks like such a baby.
I don't want to get, because I'm going to get so emotional, but I'm telling you right now, that was a sign from Detective Suter tonight to have this story run, to make sure that all of us knew that he's okay and that we're going to be okay because of Bria. Let me tell you another story. Officer Hightower is in Northeast District, and that's where her father was killed. So she's protecting the same streets where her father died. And I'm telling you, Detective Lewis, you, sir.
Well, she will bring a fresh perspective to anybody who has she yet to interview along the way, because she knows what it's like. She's been there.
Yeah, there was a purpose that story was told tonight. I think we found out.